Alright guys, so welcome to today's video, and in today's video we have the second part of our Roblox Lua scripting tutorial. And first of all, thank you for your overwhelming support on the first video. I did not expect you guys to be this supportive, to be honest, but thank you again. And yeah, there we go. So this is our second part, and we'll just start with our presentation right here. So get used to this presentation at the beginning of those videos because I consider them as pretty helpful to structure the video and to give you an overview of what we are going to do in this episode. Okay, so let's start off by this first note right here. So in the last video I have told you about the biggest mistake, or the most common mistake every beginner makes, which is just that they do not get familiar with Roblox Studio at the beginning before starting with scripting, and they just get so demotivated or unmotivated easily by trying out complicated stuff or maybe easy scripting stuff without even having any basic knowledge about all of the tabs, for example, about instances, properties whatsoever, and they just lack of that knowledge, and therefore just do many mistakes or make many mistakes, and therefore they just get unmotivated or demotivated and they just stop. Okay, and that's the biggest mistake you can possibly make. So do not stop on working on your dream to be a pro scripter. Okay, so just move on. Doesn't matter how many errors you'll face, just move on. And the second part is, of course, that they lack of a basis on which they just build their scripting knowledge onto. But so if you need some additional help regarding the components in Studio, such as events, functions, instances, or services, there is this Roblox Developer Hub website, which offers you a blog, let's say, with all of the stuff. So I've just listed there, explained, and sometimes even some examples on how you use them. Okay, so do not forget to check that out. I'll leave a link to this website in the description. So that website is a must for every developer, in my opinion. And so let's move on with the second thing. So after I have recorded the first episode, I have noticed that I have forgot to talk about the output, but we are going to work with the output today. So in this video, I first of all want to show you some things about variables. So, and then I'm going to talk about printing and warning. Okay, so there are those two operations, let's say, which I'll show you in the context of the output. Okay, but let's first of all start with the variable. So you guys maybe know variables from your math class in school. So a variable in Roblox holds, or even in real life, holds values and in Roblox instances, and they always consist of the name and the value it is supposed to hold. Okay, so let me give you a quick example for that. So an example is will you like this video? So that's the name, and equals true. Okay, and true in this case is the value. In this case, a Boolean value. Okay, and that's actually it for variables. So this is, of course, pretty theoretical. Is that even a term? I don't know. So it is theory. Okay, at the end, and we are going to we are going to practice this, and let's even do that now. So let me switch to Studio and let me show you what I'm talking about when I'm presenting you guys something about variables. Okay, so we had the example of will you like this video? Okay, and that's the name basically, and this equals is a must for every variable, and that's the value it is supposed to hold. So in order to be able to call a variable, it of course needs a name. Okay, otherwise you're not able to call it. So if you have, just an example, if you have 3 children and they have no name or no names, then you are unable to call them, you know. So you need to have a name, and you need to have a value which is assigned to your variable, otherwise this variable gets useless. And I have told you that the variable either holds values or instances. So let me list you all of the values it can hold. So true and false are Boolean values, okay? So Boolean, so you have you have some classes, okay? Some classes when it comes to values. So you have the int values. Let me just write them down. So int values, which are either 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and so on. So just basic numbers. Then you also have decimal values. Well, in Roblox, they are called number values. Okay. And they can be those kind of numbers, but they can also be decimal numbers, such as 1.1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, so and so on. Okay. And well, we have some more values. So let me go to this insert object tab. You guys should know from the last episode. And if we enter value inside, then you will see all of these values, okay? And you can store every one of them inside of this variable. So we have the bool value, which is the boolean, means true or false. We have the brick color value, which basically represents this brick color property, okay? C-frame is another topic, but it has to do with positioning. Color free also has to do with colors. So it stores this color free property right here. And int value, so I've just talked about that one. Number value as well. Object value stores objects, and we are going to get to this one as well. Ray value, yeah, okay, so there's a short description on this one. I think that this one stores race, yeah, race probably. And array casting and race is another topic, so just forget about that. String value, yeah, so let me explain you the string value part, because you will mainly, as a beginner, work with bool values, int values, maybe number values, and string values, okay? And int and number values, so we already had them. Bool values, so we have a bool value right here. And now let me get to string values. So a string in Roblox or in any other programming language is a combination of multiple characters. So character is basically A, B, or C, and D, E, F, G, and so on. And a combination of them is basically just a text, okay? So a string is nothing else than a text. So tree would be a string, house, car, money, pool, moon, whatsoever. And a characteristics of a string is that they are written in those quotation marks. Okay, so there are two of them, I think, so you can either use these ones or these ones. And you just enter the text or the word in between those two quotation marks, okay? And that's actually it. So will you like this video can either be true or false, 1, 1.5, or a character, or a string. Yeah. Okay, and that's all about those values I was talking about. And now the next thing is about objects. Okay, so variables cannot only store values, but they can also store instances or objects, as I have showed you in my presentation. And now I'm going to show you how this actually works, because that's a little bit more complicated. Because in order to store a object or an instance, you need to tell the script where it actually is located. And we are now going to talk about that. Okay, so let's add a part inside of the workspace. So you can either do that by selecting the workspace inside of your Explorers tab. So I hope that you guys have gotten familiar to all of these tabs somehow. And yes, so just select the workspace and then either click on this part or you can right click, so OBS is not recording this again, but a tab appears after you right click on the workspace, and then you can just hit insert part. Okay, and we have this part right here, and let's say that we want to print out its name. Okay, oh, well, we do not want to print out the name at the beginning, because printing is another topic which I'll get onto later, but we just want to store it onto this variable. Okay, so let's create a completely new variable called part, and part equals, yeah, this part right here. Okay, and how do we store this part inside of this variable? So basically, you need to tell the script where it is located. And how can you do that? So let me show you how. So you have all of these categories, okay, let's say, and they all have a parent, let's say, okay? So let me explain you that that scripting knowledge I have talked about in the last episode. So, or let me explain you two terms, two words of this scripting knowledge. So I'm going to explain you parent and child. So when you hit, or when you, let's say we want to select this part, okay? And this part right here within this properties tab has the property parent, and the parent is basically the instance that is directly above this instance within this explorer tree. Okay, in this case, part workspace, because workspace is above the workspace is above the part. Okay, that's basically what a parent is. So this part is member or child of the workspace, and that's basically the explanation of the term child. So the components within this workspace or within any other parent right here are called children. And if we speak of a single instance, then we call it child, okay? And the parent, as I've said, is the instance where those childs are put into, in this case, the workspace. Okay, so that's just all about parent and child, and children, I mean. And why have I explained this to you? So there is a parent of all of those categories, components, whatsoever. And this parent is called game within the script, okay? So if we hit workspace and then go to parent, you'll see that it is called place1. And this is just the name of this place right here, okay? But you call the parent of every instance right here game. So game, okay? Game just refers to the parent of all of those instances. And now if we want to refer to the workspace, we can do game workspace. Means the script goes to the workspace, okay? So we now want to refer to this one. So what are we supposed to do? Of course, when we memorize that this is a child of the game, and we have referred to it by doing game.workspace, we could possibly do workspace dot, come on, part, of course. And that's the way on how you refer to the part, okay? And let me make another example just to underline this to you. So let's say that I'm adding whoa, what could I possibly add? So I'm adding this integer value inside of this script, okay? So what do I do when this happens? Of course, the part was inside of the workspace, and that seems pretty clear to you. So let me create another variable at this point called int value. Okay, so how can we refer to this int value now? Remember, we have the script right here, okay? So if we would try to apply the method we have done on this one onto our second example, then we could just possibly do game starter pack, and then local script because our int value is a child of the local script, and then int value. Okay, so we could do this, and I'm not even sure if this is going to work because I haven't tried this out. Okay, well, you would probably try to do this because when you try to apply the idea of this one onto this example, then this seems logical to you. But let me show you another method which is better. So you need to think about it. So we have this local script, and this local script is called script within itself. Okay, so the term script always refers to the local script. So if you want to refer to the starter pack, let's say, you could just do script parent, because script is this local script, and the parent of this local script, if you take a look at the properties tab, is the starter pack. Okay, so, but in this case, we want to refer to the int value. So what could we do? Of course, you can now use the idea from above. So you refer to a child by dot and then the name of the child, int value. So script int value refers to this int value. Okay, and let me show you one more possible case where things might get complicated for you. Or let me just do two more examples. Okay, the first one is going to be the case I was going to talk about, and the last example is going to be the ultimate task for you. Okay, and then we'll move on with printing and warning, because those two things are pretty easy. So let me now create some complicated stuff right here. Okay, so this stuff might seem complicated to you at the beginning, but it actually is possible to be done by you. Okay. Okay. So we have this case right here of an instance we want to refer to. So we have this instance, which is a child of another instance, which is a child of another instance, which has two children. Okay? Well, it might be complicated for some of you, and therefore we are going to do this. Well, this was the ultimate task, actually. So let's do the ultimate task first, and then let's work on the case I was talking about, which might make things, or which might make things more complicated. Okay, so how would you refer to this boss throne now? Okay, I'm gonna give you some time to think about it. So pause the video, think about it, and then come back when you have actually gotten an idea. Okay. All right, so I hope that you have made up your mind. So how would you refer to this? So if you have understood the idea up here and the idea of the script, then you'll probably notice that using script parent script parent would be game. So this actually would be this if something else wouldn't happen, which we are not going to deal with in this tutorial. But do not come up with this idea. So this won't work. You will have to use this, okay, in order to refer to the workspace. That's the first thing. Now, we want to refer to the boss throne. And you just need to check what the parent of this boss throne is. In this case, it is, where is it? It is top secret, which is a folder. Okay, so if the parent of top secret is workspace, then we can continue by doing dot, etc, etc. But in this case, the parent is test1, okay, another folder. So if we hit test1, then we will see that the parent is workspace. Therefore, test1, okay, and top secret, because top secret is the child of this parent, which holds the instance we want to refer to. So top secret, okay. And the next thing is boss throw, okay. And there already is a problem I wanted to deal with in the last case. As you can see, we have instances which have spaces within their names. So boss, throne, top secret. And if we just copy the name one by one, so the exact name with its spaces, then this is going to happen. So there are some errors, incomplete statements, so the script misunderstands them as statements or functions or whatsoever. And I'm now going to show you how you can refer to those instances, okay? So to names which have spaces. So how do you refer to them? You can do the following. So you need to do those brackets. Okay, I hope you know how to do them. If not, comment so. So you need to create 2 of them, and then those quotation marks, and then top secret. And that's the way on how you can refer to this, to this instance which has spaces, or which has a space in its name. And if we want to refer to the boss throne, then we can do the exact same thing. So boss throne. And there we go. So that's the way on how you refer to an instance which is a child of a parent, which is a child of another parent, which is a child of the workspace. Okay, and we have dealt with this space problem. Okay, now one more thing I wanted to work on this video is the print and the warn operations. So how do they work? So you might have seen them. If you create a new local script, then the first line you're going to face is print hello world. And I have already told you that we haven't dealt with the output so far, and we are now going to deal with the output a little, but printing and warning do not really show everything the output is capable of. So the output mainly, let me just give you a short overview. The output just prints out your script's outputs. So this could be a print you add inside of your script to check if the script has worked so far to a certain point where you have added your print. So you could possibly add the print at the end of the script or by the end of the script to check if the script has really run through the end by printing out something inside of the output. You can add a warn to mark a possible vulnerable spot inside of your script when you work with if cases, if statements, for example. But that's another topic. And the output also prints out script errors which happen, so unexpected errors, which are unexpected, of course. Okay. So how do prints work? So you just write print, and then the stuff you want to print out within these brackets. So if we want to write hello world, then this would not work. Well, at least if you do it this way, because you have to memorize that if you want to print out a text or a string, then I have already told you the characteristics of that type of value is that they are written in quotation marks. So if you want to print out a character or a text or a string, then always put them inside of quotation marks. Otherwise the script is going to give you an error because it misunderstands those non-quotation mark things as variables. Okay, so it thinks that those are variable names. Okay. So, let's run this thing and let's see how hello world is being printed out. Int value is not a valid number of local script. Yeah, okay. Let's get rid of this line. So explaining this problem to you would be another topic. I'm gonna explain it in another episode. But as you can see, it now works. So hello world has been printed out, and that's actually it with the output. So it just prints out the script's output, which is either a print, a warn, or unexpected errors, or other warnings of the script when you use services, for example. So services also tend to be unable to work for a certain time, and for example data stores. So if you just try to save too many values, then you'll receive a warning inside of your output telling you that some data store requests have been added to a queue. Okay, and so when we speak of strings, which are supposed to be printed out, then you can just memorize that everything within those quotation marks, so your text or your string, is being printed out inside of this output. But you cannot only print out texts or strings, you can also print out numbers. Means int values or number values. So I could print out 1.5, as you can see. Or I could print out 1. Or I could print out true. As you can see, and I could print out false, and both at the same time. So by adding this comma in between those two values, you can print out both at the same time. As you can see, true and false, and it forgets about the comma, so the comma is not being printed out, okay? And we can also triple this whole thing. So I could add a third value, so a string value called pass, and this one is being printed out as well. And we could add another value, an int value in this case, and as you can see, yeah, I'm just free to do everything within this print. You can also print out math operations such as 5 plus 5, so it is supposed to print out 10. As you can see, maybe 5 minus 2. Yeah, and all of the other operations, so maybe 10 divided by 2 or 5 multiplied by 2, you know, so all of that stuff. Okay. And also do the following. So you could also print out a certain property inside of this properties tab. So how can you do that? So in order to do that, it requires an instance. You can either use one of those variables we have already made, or you can forget about the variables and you can just refer to them directly. But we have already created those variables, therefore I recommend you to use them. So part. So we can now print out the part, okay? Without referring to any instance or so. So it is just going to print out part. We could now print out the name of this part, which is part in this case. Okay, so it is going to be part. Yeah. All right. Or we could do the following. So we could print out the name of this boss throne. Okay, so let's try and do that. So throne refers to this boss throne, and we can print out the name of that. So boss throne. Okay. Let me show you one more thing regarding the print. So there are, of course, so many things I could show you about printing. Okay, so to string, to number, so you can convert values, int values, number values into text, into string, and you can just do the same backwards. So you can print, or you can convert text or strings into a number. And I could possibly show you that as well, but it is just unnecessary for a beginner, okay? But I just wanted to show you this thing, okay? So this one more thing which is about combining two texts, two strings together. And you may ask, why would I use this? Let me show you why. So if we have case that you want to print out a certain instance's property, in this case the name, then you will possibly need this. So instance name is our text. And let's say that we want to print out the name of this throne. So how would we do that? Instance name, okay? And then you could possibly do this, which would probably work. Yeah, did work. So throne, which refers to a throne, and then dot, and then you refer to this child's property, which is called name, which is right here. We could possibly print out the brick color as well. Brick color. Let's try and do that. As you can see, it prints out black as the brick color, which is actually the case. Okay, but let's stick with the names. So we could either do this, or in order to combine two strings together, you can do this. So you can just add two dots, which combines both. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. All right, now the last thing is about warning, which is not a huge difference, because warning is basically printing, but in orange text color, as you can see right here. And that's all about warning, so there's nothing much else to it. Okay, so let's continue this presentation. Okay, print will print out whatever you put inside of the brackets. Example. Okay, so we have already dealt with this. The last thing. Okay, I didn't write it out, but the last thing was about warning. Okay, and that's actually it for this video, guys. So I hope that you have enjoyed it. If so, leave a like, subscribe, share this video to all of your friends. Like this video. Yeah, take care and see you in the next video, guys.